Hey guys, I am excited today because we've got a new game to add to the 1/6 scale arcade. This is from New Wave Toys. It's the Replicade 1942 1/6 scale arcade machine that looks, plays, and controls just like Capcom's classic 1942 Lowboy arcade machine. We're gonna open this up, check it all out, inspect it really good, play it a little bit, and then we're gonna put it into the miniature arcade to see how it looks next to the other machines. All right, guys, I can't wait. Let's get into this. Oh, wow, that looks so nice. That is so cool. I love that wood grain too, just because I think it's gonna add a good amount of visual interest to my arcade, because most of my arcade, it's looking kind of 90s, but this is gonna add a little bit more of a retro flair to it with that low profile arcade cabinet and the wood grain. That is super cool. This is gonna look really nice. Let's get this plastic off here. All right. Look at that, the aircraft carrier. That is so cool. Man, I love that. The presentation is so nice on these too. And here we go. Here is the instruction manual. This has got, it's supposed to kind of look like a little replica service manual, but that is pretty cool. And we've got the tokens in there. Oh, and the top secret decal. So you can stick this on the cabinet or you can leave it off. All right, let's take a look at that a little bit later. Let's get the machine out of here so we can get a better look at it. Oh, and here is the 1943 control panel. So I don't know if you guys know this, but they currently have up for sale 1942 and 1943. Yeah, that is really cool. Look at that Lowboy profile. The monitor just kind of faces upwards, so you kind of look down on this. It's going to add a lot of visual interest in the mini arcade. It's going to make it look really, really interesting. Let's take this plastic off here. So yeah, they have a 1943 and a 1942 machine. This is obviously the 1942, but both machines have both games on it. So you can play 1943 or 42 on here. And both of them come with a second controller, so you can play 2-player. Now, the thing that I really like about this is that when you get the 1942, you're really getting both control panels, because here you've got the 1942 control panel, replica control panel, and here is the 1943 replica control panel. So you get both styles. This one's from 1984, and this one is from 1987. And something major happened in between these two games. So they changed, the whole style of the machine changed. It looks more like a 90s style with 1943. And then this one from 1984 has more of a retro, older styling. So it's really, I like the style of the new cabinet a little bit more. But what I really like about this one is that it's gonna add that visual interest, and then also you're getting both control panel types. So one of the major things that happened between those two versions of the game is that they upgraded from leaf switches to micro switches. Well, I say upgrade, not everyone sees it as an upgrade, but it's from two different eras basically. So you've got the clicky micro switches in this one, really clicky joystick. And that's what you'd feel playing Street Fighter or any modern arcade machines in the United States these days. You get those really clicky buttons. And this over here doesn't have that, because back in 1984, for 1942, they used leaf switches. So it's got more of a spongy feel to it. It doesn't click so much. It kind of has a smooth feel to it on the controller too. You know, you don't get that hard click where you feel that it registering which direction you're moving, you know? So, you know, some people have a preference, one or the other. I kind of like the variety. I like that I have both here. So that's one of the reasons why I like the 1942 as opposed to the 1943 machine, even though the 1943 machine has a more modern visual styling. That's something I'm more used to, because when I was managing an arcade, I had mostly, 90s machines in there. Now, one thing I noticed about this controller that wasn't on the older Street Fighter II controller is it has two buttons on the back here next to the USB micro port. And this is actually so that you can insert coin and access the service menu right from the controller, which is kind of a nice little feature. It's always nice that they keep improvising and adding new features to these machines as they go on. Anyway, let's get it plugged in, charged up. Here we've got the USB cables. So we've got a USB cable for the second player controller, and then we've got a USB cable for charging the unit itself. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into one of my power banks, my Change Machine power banks, and we'll get it charged up. All right, so in our little goodies bag, we have the top secret decal. This can just stick right on the machine here if you'd like, or you can leave that off. And then also we have the little metal tokens. And then of course we have the service manual or instruction manual. And this basically tells you how to play the game, and it also shows you how to work the machine and everything like that. And also like the HDMI. So this does have HDMI output, which is awesome. Right here, there's a sticker covering it, letting you know you may need to set your TV setting to fit. Basically, yeah, this has HDMI out ever since Dragon's Lair. They've been having HDMI out now. So it looks like that might be the new standard. Then we got this cool little high voltage decal back here, and it's numbered, individually numbered. So we've got, what is this, number 2,320 something out of 5,000. So yeah, these are limited. Once they sell out on the website, that's it. And then after that, the only way to get them is to, pay crazy prices on eBay. So these things always sell out before they start the next machine. So they'll start, I guess Qbert I think is coming up next. They'll start selling those. They've already taken pre-orders for Qbert, so it'll go up for regular sale, and then that'll be it. It'll be done. So yeah, I also like this wood grain effect is really cool too. One thing I noticed is you can see that grain effect come through on the silk screening on the side. So you know how some games have decals applied to the sides of the machines, others will have silk screening or stencil painted, and it looks like this one this one's to simulate either a stencil or silk screened side art, because you can see that grain come through on there. So that's a nice little detail. Same thing on the front here, nice little detail. And then this coin doors is like one of the older Japanese style coin doors. You don't really see these too much. Now, if you were to play this, if you were to find this or have played this in the arcade, there's a good chance that it could have looked like this machine, or it could have looked like something else, because a lot of these 1942 and 1943 machines were sold as conversion kits. So, which means that they go into an existing arcade machine. You just convert it to a 1942. They give you a control panel overlay and all this stuff you need to convert any machine into a 1942 or 3. But if you had one of the dedicated cabinets, you could have had one of these lowboy dedicated cabinets, or with 1943, it would be in like a dynamo cab. But these are what the dedicated cabinets would have looked like, so which I think is really cool. For this specific machine, since we don't have the light up coin return buttons, those are what you'd usually do to insert credits and to get into the service manual. Instead, we have like a rocker switch on here. So you could take this decal off. This decal explains, what you need to do to get to the different menus. Once you already know, you could take that off theoretically, I suppose. Here's in the service menu. You can see we have options for game selection. So we can choose, like I said, this has 2 games in one. You can choose 1943, switch the game to 1943, or go back to 1942. And of course, both of the machines, whether you get 1942 or 1943, it'll be the same internals. Then you've got difficulty here. Easy, normal, difficult, and very difficult. I'll just leave mine on normal. Then you've got the marquee light. You can toggle that off or on. So that is a nice little touch. I love that these all have light up marquees. I mean, even some of the, say, arcade 1-ups don't have that, just to save a little bit of money. but I think it's really cool. Nice little touch. I love the authenticity of these small 1/6 scale machines. Then you've got your backlight. You can adjust the brightness on this if it's too bright, too dark. Then you've got your player 1, player 2 switch. This is, so when you normally plug in the second player controller, and by the way, you can plug in any arcade stick if you want to plug in a different arcade stick. Well, most arcade sticks will be compatible. Even certain game controllers are compatible with this. You plug it into the USB on the back. You can use something other than this if you'd like. Now, the switch option is if you want to use this as your primary, as your player 1, then you would toggle this on here. So actually we can adjust that here too. So yeah, now this will be player 1, or you can switch it back so this is player 2. So it'll just swap the two controls. And also, if you'd like, if you don't want to use the controls on the actual system or on the actual arcade machine, you can plug in a second USB controller. So you can play with 2 external controllers if you'd like. And then of course, plug into the HDMI to connect to your TV, and basically it's like a portable game console. You know, it's got a rechargeable battery. You can play with your controllers on the big screen TV. Pretty cool. Next we have a scan lines option, so you can kind of simulate scan lines if you'd like. Now of course, since this is a vertical oriented monitor, the scan lines will run vertically. You can change the starting lives, and then here's where you get the extra bonus lives. So you can set which scores you earn bonus lives at. All right, so let's do a little bit of gameplay here. You got the fire button, and then of course you've got the loop button to dodge. Oh, crashed right off the bat. All right, so that's a little bit of 1942. Let's go ahead and select 1943. And we're gonna use the external joystick this time, or the external control panel, and that's quite fitting because this is the 1943 control panel. I love this game. All right. Yeah, I love 1943. All right, so here is the 1/6 scale arcade. All the machines lined up. Aren't they beautiful? I am so happy that 1942 includes 1943 because while I do like 1942, 1943 is so good. It's so much better, in my opinion. I love that game so much. Anyway, very happy to have it in my collection now. That's gonna do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, I will see you later.